February 22nd, Feast of the Chair of St. Peter the Apostle.
A reading from the first letter of St. Peter. Beloved, I exhort the presbyters among you, as a fellow presbyter and witness to the sufferings of Christ, and one who has a share in the glory to be revealed. Tend the flock of God in your midst, overseeing not by constraint, but willingly, as God would have it, not for shameful profit, but eagerly. Do not lord it over those assigned to you, but be examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd is revealed, you will receive the unfading crown of glory. The word of the Lord.
The response is, "The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want." The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In verdant pastures he gives me repose. Beside restful waters he leads me. He refreshes my soul. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Even though I walk in the dark valley, I fear no evil, for you are at my side, with your rod and your staff that give me courage. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. You spread the table before me in the sight of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Only goodness and kindness follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for years to come. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus went into the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter said in reply, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Jesus said to him in reply, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord.
The Feast of the Chair of St. Peter the Apostle. The first reading comes from 1 Peter 5, 1-4. This is an admonition to the presbyters, the elders of the community, that they should exercise their responsibility to take care of the flock of God. Remember that leadership in Judaism and in the early Christian church was compared to being a shepherd. Jesus called himself the Good Shepherd. And when Peter was asked by Jesus 3 times after the resurrection, "Do you love me?" then Peter responded, "Yes." He was told to take care of the flock. And therefore, those of us who have been given positions of responsibility should care for the sheep, should be willing to give up our life for the sheep. And Pope Francis said, if you're working with the sheep, you're going to end up smelling a little bit like the sheep. You're going to get your hands dirty. We shouldn't stand off from afar and judge people, but rather get in the midst of it and help them to find their way. The Gospel is from Matthew 16, 13-19. Jesus says, "Who do people say that I am?" And he says this at Caesarea Philippi, which is near the source of the Jordan. They give various answers, and he says, "Who do you say that I am?" Peter responds, "You're the Christ, the Son of the living God." And the response of Jesus, "This doesn't come from yourself. This is coming from God. And I'm going to make you the rock on which I build my church." Remember, the name Peter in Aramaic, Cephas, means rock. And Peter is presented as a solid foundation. He's given the keys of the kingdom. In the Old Testament, God the Father has the keys of life, death, and rain, precipitation. Jesus has that authority in the New Testament, and he's passing it on to Peter. He's given the power to loose and to bind. That was a power that a rabbi had to decide what restrictions Jews had to keep. And so Peter is the chief rabbi of this new church. In fact, it's actually called a church, ecclesia. Peter's in charge. He's the one who will make the decisions. And the gates of the netherworld will not prevail against it. This is occurring at a pool near Caesarea Philippi, where the Jordan bubbles up from the ground. And just over this pool is a cave where people worship pagan gods for many centuries. It was called by the Jews the gates to the netherworld, the gates to hell. So this is a symbol of evil. Peter is told that even though evil would attack this church, God would protect it. And may God bless us.